Welcome to the first video for Unreal Engine. In this video, we want to start our work with the software installation and a relatively good internet connection. A crucial point is that I will give you a path so you can easily install Unreal Engine without consuming a large amount of your internet data. The first point that exists is that for access to Unreal Engine, it is best to install the Epic Games Launcher on your system. For this purpose, the best thing is for you to go into your browser, enter the Unreal Engine website, sign up, and then click the Download option. When you click the Download option, you download the launcher. The launcher is essentially an application through which you have access to news, the marketplace, Unreal samples, as well as Twinmotion and reality capture. The important point is that to install Unreal Engine, you must connect to the internet and download a volume of about 15 gigabytes. You can have different versions of Unreal on your system. You might say, I currently have a version, for example, 5.1, 5.2, or 5.3, and can I use it for this camp or not? Meaning, the question is somewhat like this. Is it mandatory that we download this volume of the file or not? The important point is that throughout the camp, the version of all the files that will be provided to you is version 5.4.4. This means you must download these files for the camp itself, but during the time when you are practicing and learning the things that are being told to you in Unreal as a warm-up, you do not need it to necessarily be this version. Meaning you have an opportunity to download and install the latest version of Unreal that I have provided for you. This is one point. After installation, we go to launching Unreal. Well, after we click on the Launch option, a page appears with the Unreal Engine logo on it. And it is possible that the first time you run Unreal on your system, especially a new version that you install, it might take time, anywhere from 5 minutes up to even an hour, depending on the hardware you have. We call this stage shader compilation. We don't need to do anything special. Unreal is doing this itself. Just give it time to complete this task. It usually gets stuck at 45% load and starts decreasing from a number like 8,000 until it reaches 0, and we proceed to the rest of the steps. After you pass this stage, you enter the Unreal Project browser. This is where we can use different templates. For now, we use the blank games template here. Now, what things should we activate here? Let's go to this topic. Here is the project location section where we define the storage location and path of our project. The best option is to define this on your SSD. And here is the project name. We can put anything. We put test because we want to test and freshly learn Unreal. In this section, you do not touch Blueprint. The target platform is on desktop. Quality preset is on maximum. We need starter content, and we also need ray tracing. Here, when you check these boxes, the process of shader compilation might happen again for you, which is not important at all. Let it do its job until the project opens. I click the Create option and wait for my project to load. Certainly when your Unreal Engine opens, you'll encounter a window layout like this, where the biggest and main window is the viewport, and two other very important windows that we will work with a lot. But we don't have anything special to do in this current level and map. What do? We come here, click the Content Drawer option from the bottom, or press the shortcut Ctrl+Space until this window opens, and we go into Starter Content, we go into Map section, and select the Starter Map option. We double-click on it, it loads, and this loading might take some time the first time you run it so that its shaders are compiled again. After it is finished, no matter what error it gives, just close it. You have entered this page. Let's now learn some navigation together and then we will address the rest of the things we need in Unreal. Let's go to navigation. Navigation in Unreal Engine is very simple. We have both the mode of 3D software like Blender and 3ds Max, and the attractive game mode, which you might have experienced in Lumion or Twinmotion. Before we go to navigation, let me tell you one important point. It is possible that I might forget during my talks, for example, to say I am holding Control now, or I am pressing this button now. If you perform the task I describe or follow the path I took and don't get the result, you just need to go back to that moment and pay attention to the side of my mouse. The mouse indicator shows you all the buttons I press on the keyboard and mouse. This way you won't miss anything. You just need to take a general look at the tutorial, but with more focus. Well, let's go to the first type of navigation in Unreal Engine. What we can do is hold the left mouse button and move our mouse. What can we do this way? We can move the camera in 3D space. It might be a bit headache-inducing because it's a new type of navigation, but it's good to know that such a thing exists. The second method is to now hold the right mouse button. If we move the mouse this way, the camera's head or direction is moving and changing. And you can, for example, look in one direction through the camera and move with the W, S, A, and D keys, which are forward, backward, left, and right. And for altitude, you can use E for going up and Q for going down. We do this way of navigation very often in Unreal Engine because we want to move in 3D space. Now, the method and the navigation system in 3D software also exists here. You can zoom in and zoom out by scrolling. If you hold the Alt key on the keyboard and hold the middle mouse button, you can pan. If you have selected an object, hold Alt and hold the right mouse button, you can zoom in and zoom out. Or you can hold Alt and experience rotation with the left mouse button. Whichever object you select in the scene, press F and you go to it and essentially focus, which can be very useful for us because unfortunately, Unreal can sometimes glitch in navigation and throw you into a very distant space from the scene you are in. You just need to select one of the objects from this list that I will explain to you later and press the F key. This concludes the discussion on navigation in Unreal. Well, let me tell you one point as the last point of this video. FPS is a number that is very important and vital for us in Unreal Engine. Now, what is this FPS number? Where can we bring it up and check it? And what does it mean for us at all? First, let's see how we can activate it. You can click on these three lines, and here, click the Show FPS option so it's displayed for you here. You can also do this with a shortcut, Ctrl-Shift+H. Now, what does this mean? What is it showing us? Look, the scene or the viewport that you are seeing in Unreal Engine, and you call it real time, or even these things I'm telling you, are related to the same computer games you play, this real-time chronology is measured by a criterion. What is this criterion? FPS, frames per second, meaning in every second, how many renders is your hardware showing you? If it is showing you 30 renders, it means your FPS is the over 30, and it's like you're watching a movie. This is called real time. Now, the higher this number goes, the better it is. If it comes down from 30 to a number like 24, we can say we are on the border. Below 24, we no longer see the viewport or the real-time image. What things cause this number to go up and down? One is your hardware, meaning a scene might give 90 FPS on my hardware and 20 on your hardware. This becomes a hardware issue. Sometimes, a scene has certain elements inside of it that cause the FPS number to drop. For example, we have a hallway with a lot of light in it. These excessive lights cause what to happen? We have light bouncing in the environment. A lot of processing is required to calculate all the illuminations, highlights, shadows, and shades, so the FPS drops. Where does this point I'm telling you become important later? When we are creating our game assets, I will give you some factor. I will say, look, if you observe these, it won't cause the FPS to drop. What does this mean? It means your asset is optimized. Well, keep this concept and logic in mind so we can talk about a few other things about the viewport and then conclude this video. Well, as I told you, FPS means, for example, 30 times in 1 second, your hardware is rendering this scene that we see in the viewport. How does it render it? In different layers. Well, when it is rendering this in different layers, we can see all these layers. I will tell you a few of the important ones. In this section that says lit, lit means the final render that you are seeing. That is, this same viewport where I see the shadow, the light, the reflection, and the color. I see everything together. If I click on this list, I can select the unlit mode. The unlit mode is where you no longer see the light, you don't see the reflection, and you only see the color. It is a very good and useful mode for when we want to check the colors of our project. The next mode that is very useful for us is the lighting mode in detail and the plain lighting mode. If you select this, what happens in the detail lighting mode is that you see your reflection, or what you see as shininess on the surface, and your normal, alongside this gray material, shadows and highlights. If you put it on lighting only mode, you no longer see those, you only see a gray material where there is light and where there's shadow. This is a very good option, these two modes, so that we can do our lighting in the most correct way possible. Well, another mode that exists here is not very useful for us to talk about right now. We will talk about them later when we want to explain each section. I just wanted to give you a hint that this list exists here and we are going to use it a lot. Let's go to other viewport modes that can help us. The point that exists is that, like other software, you can change your viewing direction to orthographic mode. How can you do this? You can select it from this list. For example, you want to see your project from the top view now, or you want to do this from the right view. By default, this is in wireframe mode like this. You can come and put this on lit mode. You can put it on unlit mode so that you can see your viewport better or more controlled. The next point that is very important for me to tell you here is that sometimes you might accidentally hit a key that's a shortcut for something, and some things are hidden in your viewport. You don't see some things. Here, you have come and in this section, in this list, you have made some changes with that key that you accidentally hit. For this issue, you click the Use Default option if you feel that something should be visible in your viewport but is not. Let's keep this in mind. Generally speaking, if your system is a little weak and you see that Unreal Engine is putting a lot of pressure on your hardware, there is a solution to reduce this hardware pressure. You go to the Settings section, you go to the Settings Engine Scalability Settings section, and here you can select one of these: Low, Medium, High, Epic, and Cinematic. When it is on High mode, it means almost all the things you're seeing in the viewport have good quality. If you feel that your hardware cannot process it, you can put it on Medium mode. Some options might be removed from the scene, but since we're talking about game assets here, it doesn't matter at all, and you can take the pressure off your hardware. These were all the explanations that were necessary for me to give you here, so you know about the Unreal Engine viewport, before we go to the next video and start our work.